Hello, and welcome to the Remind Podcast, the podcast where we get inside the real estate entrepreneur's mind. My name is Harrison Smith. I'm the Director of Growth with the Matea Group of Keller Williams Realty, based here in Maine and expanding throughout New England. And I'm joined today by Mike Ruck. How you doing, Mike?
Harrison, I'm excellent. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So glad to have you here. So for those who don't know you, Mike, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I am the business development manager at the Corey Scott team over at Annie Mac Home Mortgage, where I really focus on developing relationships and strengthening relationships with our realtor partners. It's
Awesome.
my primary job.
Awesome. So you likely didn't start in mortgages because, as we find, most people don't start in real estate. They end up in real estate. So why don't you give us a little bit of your history and where you got started?
Yeah, I did not. I started in printing and packaging, as a matter of fact. So I had a 17-year career with a large manufacturer in the print and packaging space, and really enjoyed that. Had similar experiences in terms of my role as in New England business development, helping companies in that aspect. And then I decided that I was on the periphery of watching people be very successful in real estate,
Hmm.
and just saw the wealthy people, my friends that were building wealth, were all involved in real estate, whatever aspect. There's so many different aspects of it. And so I decided it was a really good opportunity. And Corey was kind enough to give me an opportunity on his team, for better or for worse. We've found it to be really successful, but we have a lot of fun together. But it's been a really great fit. And we're excited to keep exploring and keep going and keep growing.
Awesome. So coming from printing and packaging, printing's a big piece of the real estate space. Had you worked with real estate folks in that business, or was this just people that you knew from your network?
Not really. I was always interested in it. I was always interested in real estate. I networked. I networked with people, even just to pick their brains. I knew well before I came into this that I wanted to be in real estate. I didn't know what capacity. There was the fear of failure that I had. There was the analysis paralysis, looking at deals and just overanalyzing them. And so I spent a lot of time really meeting with people and networking and realizing I got to do something. I really have to do something. I dabbled in just a little bit of hard money lending with
Okay.
some very close contacts, and that was fine. So that was kind of my toe in the water, and it was great. The challenge with that at the end is that you didn't have any assets,
Hmm.
um, and it was good. It was good. It wasn't great. I was ready for great, and I was ready to take that next step. And printing and packaging, that experience. I mean, if you take out what the product is, it's all about building relationships, and finding people that are looking for strong relationships. And whatever the product you're selling or trying to develop, that's what I love doing. It was really finding these folks and really helping them grow and seeing them be successful, whether it was through a folding carton, or right now it's really helping realtors get to that next level,
Awesome.
and from a unique perspective.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's one of the messages I think I've heard in just about every episode we've recorded so far is that relationship component. It's all about building relationships and building that database and maintaining that network. And obviously for you, it translates well between the two. But when you look at, so you got into the mortgage space, you could have gotten into any aspect of real estate. You could have been an agent. You could have just been strictly an investor. What drew you to mortgages?
What drew me to mortgages? A couple things. I saw what Corey was doing, and I was just really in awe of the experience he was providing his clients. I came from a place that did a really great job, but it was manufacturing, and manufacturing came with a lot of unique circumstances. The process that we have at the Corey Scott team that Corey has created over 12 years. I mean, to his credit, which I give him as little amount of credit as possible, but here I'm going to give him a lot of credit.
Nice.
He's done a really great job. He's done a really great job building the team and finding the right people in the right places. And I personally love meeting people and exploring those relationships and just helping to develop those relationships. And that's what I think I do really well. And that's what he was looking for. So could it have been in another area potentially? But I just felt it was the right fit with the right people, with the right mentors, and it all kind of came together.
Yeah, I love that. Fit is such a big piece of all this. And finding the right fit for yourself, but also finding the right people to work alongside you that are also a fit. And it's one of the areas that I focus on strongly is fit. For us, it's more about can I find the person that really wants to be a part of what we're trying to do here, or is this just somebody who's looking to find a place that's warm that they can come and hang out and spend some time, and that fit component is massive.
It is
Um,
massive, and there's a lot of lenders out there. I mean, you can drive down the street and see all of them. I mean, there's just a lot of them. So it really is. We have to be different, and we have to be different. We have to have a different mindset, and that's I think what kind of helps us, makes us a little different. And that's why I enjoy my role, because I have that mindset of coming from helping and being a fit. And when I have meetings and meeting new folks, it's almost an interview in both directions, because they want to see if we're going to be a good fit to help support their business, and we're trying to see if they're going to be a good fit for our business. And it's no hard feelings if it's not a good fit. People respect that. But if we can find those people that are really looking to grow, that's where I love it, and that's why I do what I do.
Awesome. Are there one or two key things you're looking for when you're trying to determine fit? Are there some kind of filtering criteria that you use?
Um, that's a great question. I don't necessarily have a checklist that I sit down and filling out. It really is learning about what people's goals are, and do they align with what our goals are. Um, that's probably the biggest question, trying to understand where people came from, where they are today, and where they're looking to go tomorrow. Can we help them get to that tomorrow? Because if we can, that will start the next conversation, and then we can talk about that. Um, we have a work hard, party hard mentality, so we have fun with what we do, and so it really is. It's that fit is just like finding a new friend. Not everybody is meant for everybody, but if you can have that conversation. Someone said to me at a meeting not too long ago, I want to see if you'll pass the beer test. Not if you can drink a beer, but can I sit down, and maybe it's the coffee test, we'll call it.
There you
Can
go.
I sit down and just have a cup of coffee with you, and we can just talk about whatever? How do conversations flow? So that's kind of the intangible things, that are hard to put on paper, take off paper, but you just know it when you see it, and you have those conversations, and conversations flow easily.
I love that beer or coffee test. I think I frame it up in a similar way. It's basically, do I want to be around this person for any length of time, or
Yeah.
am I within 10 minutes looking for the door so I can go find somewhere else to be? And that's such a big part. If we're going to be in this business and we're going to be invested together, I want to be rowing with people that are hopefully going the same direction, but also willing to do all the same things and work as hard as I will. And we'll get to the destination together, or we won't.
It's so true. It's a true partnership, and that's excuse me, what we're trying to develop with our partners is really that hockey analogy, passing the puck back and forth,
Hmm.
um, and not letting someone come in and disrupt that, and really working together as a team and trying to help each other do better, because it is definitely a two-way street. And what can we do to help, and how can we help each other grow? I mean, that's what's really important, and we've been very lucky with the partners that we work with that have a similar mindset.
Awesome. So along those same lines, what would you say has been the most important aspect to your success? Is there a particular trait or a habit, a mindset, a mentor? Is there one thing you can point to that said, geez, that's been really critical for me?
Probably the good looks,
Yeah,
I would say.
obviously.
No, no good looks. I have a face for a radio, but I would say it comes down to honesty and integrity. Just being a good person, just doing the right thing when no one else is watching. And I think that when you do that, those pay dividends at the end, and people can see that and sense that. I've always led my business with honesty and integrity, and it's people appreciate it. We're not just here to fill a pipeline. We're not just here. We want to do great work. We want to do lots of loans, but we also want to do good business and help people, and not just the opposite.
No, and I love that point. And what you're getting at is, I'm going to ask you a loaded question, but how do you balance the need for growth and volume with having the right partners? There's all kinds of business you can go get, but how do you balance not going to get the wrong business?
Yeah, and that's a really great question. Two for two, Harrison. Jeez. So I would say that we really, this year, as the team is growing, and the team's expanding and really strengthening what we're doing internally, trying to deepen our relationships with our existing partners, and work with partners that are looking for those deep relationships. We don't necessarily want to go cast a big net and work with everybody. because then you're giving 75% to everybody. We'd much
Yeah.
rather give 125% to a few. So in the conversation, as we're having that coffee talk or that beer talk, whatever it may be, people do ask that question, and we're very honest with it. I mean, because that's our goal. We really want to help people grow, but it's got to be done in the manner that is deep and meaningful,
Mm.
and not just high level and super transactional.
Yeah, great. That's great feedback. What would you say has been the most difficult lesson you've learned along the way as you've made your transition in the real estate space and gone deep in the mortgage world?
Oh, that's a great question. Number three. So I,
For those of you
I,
scoring at home?
yeah, I've got my notepad right here. Uh, I, I've learned a lot of lessons. I've learned to be a humble servant to this industry, because I'm new to this industry, within the year, and so I can't walk into this industry, expecting to know everything. But I've quickly realized what people are looking for and what people want. So, can I point out one specific instance? Not immediately off the top of my head, but I'd say it's been almost day to day. I learn something new every day, and maybe it's just how to approach different people differently, techniques, for phone, for objections. It's ever evolving, and it's just when you get put into those hard situations, which I think we can all agree that hard situations happen no matter what industry, no matter what business you're in. It's not if they happen, it's what you do when you're in them. And so learning, from the team, from Corey, from the team, on how they handle these objections, um, is amazing. It's just I feel like I'm cheating because I get to see the best of the best do what they do, and then take my notes in the background so that I can rebrand it as Mike Rock's idea.
Yeah, I love that. And it's the best thing in this business is to surround yourself with those people that are doing it at a high level, doing it the right way. For as successful as any of us get, there's always somebody who's at another level that we continue to
Mhm.
learn from. And I always reference the fact that I never ever want to be the smartest guy in the room because that means I'm in the wrong room
Yeah.
and it's no longer a room I can grow in. And now it's becoming a cage. It's going to limit where I can go. And I love being able to get in rooms with those people.
I agree. I mean, if I'm not being pushed, um, in a thought process and being challenged in a thought process, then yeah, I agree. It's a cage. It's a different room I need to go to, and likely kind of how I ended up in this industry because there's so much runway there,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I love
so
that.
much
And
opportunity.
the humble servant reference that you gave. I was actually talking to somebody looking to get into real estate just today, and I made the same comment to them of um, if you're getting into this business for the right reason, where you want to serve people at a high
Mhm.
level and build relationships, you'll do great. If you're getting into this business to be in the headlines, in the spotlight, and build your ego, you won't make it. You're really kind of wasting your time. But there's a balance. You can certainly get some spotlight and some credit, and be a good servant. But so what do you find in your world, or maybe on within the kind of the Corey Scott team, keeps you guys humble as you continue to grow and build this massive business?
I'm still in awe at the deep relationships we have and the trust that people give to us. Even if it's, a partner that Corey's been working with for 12 years or someone that's relatively new, it just it astounds me because they're trusting us with their business. I mean, at the
Sure.
end of the day, um, when a partner refers a borrower to us, it's a direct reflection on them, and so that is, immediately kind of puts on that humble servant hat and say, all right, I not only do I want to serve the client well, I need to make sure that I'm doing an extra good job so that they have a good experience with us, so that it reflects positively on their real estate professional. And that trust is directly impacting people's lives. And this is not, anything that's meaningless to people. This is typically the largest purchase of their life, and they do it just a couple times in their lifetime. And so it's very meaningful. It's very emotional. So I mean, all those combined help to keep us very humble, and we're still in awe that so many people trust us, and we have great relationships with people, and still laugh and still work really hard.
Yeah, you can still have fun and work hard. It's true.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And I can say one of the things we most appreciate on the agent side, you guys as our preferred and most trusted partner, is that level of service you provide and also the level of care you give every client. We get great feedback throughout the transaction about all the various pieces. We used to worry about what we get for feedback on the mortgage side or on the title side because a lot of times people bring their own lender you've may never have heard of or worked with. But we know when somebody goes into the Corey Scott team of Annie Mac that we know what the experience is going to be like, and we know it's going to be good all around, and everybody wins.
Yeah, and that just hearing that just like brings joy to my heart, and I know when Corey hears this, because that's why we all work so hard. That's why we all do what we do. That's why we're all in this business, working really hard, because it means a lot to us, and we're happy to hear that. So thank you for saying that.
Awesome. Awesome. So what's the one piece of advice you wish you had gotten when you started?
Start earlier. Start real estate earlier. I wish I had done it and started in any capacity. And maybe it's just, I wish I could tell my 21-year-old self to be smarter. He wouldn't have listened, but what,
What 21-year-old does.
Yeah, exactly. I still struggle with the 40-year-old self listening, but anyways, the listening, getting involved earlier and looking at investment properties, looking at the assets. I mean, if I go back 20 years and look what would have happened in the appreciation in real estate over the last 20 years, Harrison, we'd have a little different conversation now.
Yeah.
And so we're, I just actually shared Rich Dad Poor Dad with my wife, who'd never read it. And she texted me earlier and said, I've been thinking about money in real estate the whole wrong way. And like that's what I love. It's just the mindset and understanding it. So anyone that watches, that listens, talk to Harrison, talk to myself, look into real estate, and there's so many different avenues. It doesn't have to be big and scary. It can be easy and fruitful.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that's probably the piece of advice I'd give too. The one I feel the deepest is I thought about making this move for years, and then boy, I wish I had done it sooner, because there's just tremendous opportunity in this space, and it's a lot of fun, but it's different, and it took me longer to get ready for it than I expected.
Yeah, it's so true. But I think with however the saying goes, I'm going to mess it up. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today.
Yep.
So if you didn't get invested in real estate in some capacity 20 years ago, today's the next best day. And no matter what anyone says, it's a long-term play. I mean, but there's so many different opportunities. So I'm just rethinking my strategy now on how I'm looking at real estate and assets and what I can do to help grow that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think of it all the time in the terms of there's no mistake I'm going to make right now that's fatal. I can make a mistake or take a risk, and I've got time to recover. So I can pick myself up, dust myself off, and carry on. But boy, if I had started 5 years ago, 10 years ago, just the runway, to your point, is so much longer that the opportunity just becomes mind-boggling.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of folks that are passionate about real estate, including myself, including Corey, including the team, that are willing to just have those conversations with folks.
Mm-hmm.
What does it look like? And certainly, I'm going to offer your services too, Harrison. I mean, what if people are interested, in talking? It's just having those conversations to understand what it looks like. It doesn't have to be scary. Those are the types of conversations we love having, and just kind of helping people grow.
Yeah, and those are opportunities out there I don't think a lot of people know exist. I don't think they realize you can pick up the phone and call, us, the Matei Group, or you guys at Annie Mac, these big groups, and somebody will take the time to answer your questions and talk to you about what you need.
Every time.
Always.
I've asked all the dumb questions, I guarantee it. So there's no dumb ones left. Only good ones.
Yeah, exactly. No fear here. We've already asked all those questions before.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess along those same lines, Mike, how could people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about you, more about Annie Mac, more about your background?
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to call. I'll blast out the number. Is that okay?
Sure, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, so our phone number is 207-400-7750, or csteam@annie-mac.com. Reach out to us. Give us a shout. Every conversation doesn't have to go in the same direction. None of them do, actually. So if you have any questions on investing, on what it looks like for an investment property, what it looks like for a single family home or whatever it may be, let us know. We're here to help. We're here to educate. That's a big piece of our business. We're here to show numbers, and we're here just to be a support and advocate for our partners, but also our borrowers.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you joining us, Mike. It's a lot of fun to chat with you, and look forward to having you back in the future.
Whoa, I get asked back. All right, I'm coming.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Harrison. I
All
appreciate
right.
it.
Thanks, Mike.